Hi and welcome to the Data 7 Embroidery products. In this video I'm going to show you how to digitize a fill or a seeding stitch. I'm going to show you two fills and I'm going to show you how we can insert a pattern fill into the second fill. I'll cover pattern fills in a later video, specifically how to use them, how to create your own, and how to insert them into your designs either at digitizing stage or point edit stage. So very quickly I'm going to go into load a graphic that I created specifically for this video. It's very similar to the previous video on how to digitize columns. So I'm going to load an image. You can see the ABC from my previous video in columns. I'm going to load the fill stitch. So this can be any design really. I've broken it down into columns and into fills, but in reality you would have a design or a graphic that's built up of both, where you want to apply both column and fill stitches, fills. Okay, so I'm going to open that example graphic up, and as you can see there's fill 1 and fill 2. Fill 1 is a simpler fill and fill 2 is a more complex fill, and as the EDS software supports complex fills, that's what we'll be using in this video. Okay, so this video assumes you've seen the monogramming video and the column how to create columns video, but one additional feature I'll just show you very quickly is if we go into design preferences, you'll note we've got a fill type A and a fill type B. These are just two preset fills that sets the stitch density and the stitch length. These will be covered in a later video, again where I go through the specific items individually rather than in a video that covers one particular topic. You'll also notice we have an option here which is auto tie off digitizing, and as the tooltips just demonstrated, it'll auto tie off when changing needles in digitizing. So I'll have put 2 or 3 or 4 tying off stitches as you change colours, so you don't have to. Okay, just a couple other pieces to note here. Complex fill run stitch 5. So this is the distance from the edge of the running stitch will appear in 0.1 of a millimeter. So this is going to appear. This means that running around the complex fill that we will create, it'll automatically put a running stitch around the edge 0.5 centimeter or 5 points. And a complex fill overlap is 0.2 of a millimeter, where it has to join fill areas within a particular complex fill. It will overlap those areas by 0.2 centimeters in this case. It'll all become clearer as I go into and start digitizing the design. Okay, so we've got the basics out of the way, as in the previous videos, how to digitize columns and utilizing monogramming, which combines elements from both. I'm going to go straight into digitizing. I'm going to choose a different color this time, a slightly lighter color, click OK. It redraws the image and zooms in to maximize the window area. So I'm not using a full screen here for demonstration purposes, but you could, and obviously you can zoom in. So I'm going to demonstrate and say, I'm going to choose my origin as I've done in the past, and I'm going to choose it to be the center of fill 1. So there's my fill number 1, and if I wanted to, I can lay down some underlay stitches. So referring back to the fill type A and fill type B, that's what these icons here. are I can choose preset fill A with the relevant parameters, or B, or I can insert a fill, a blank fill, and it will prompt me to enter the density and the stitch length. But I'm going to just use fill type A here. But before I do that, I mentioned that I'm going to insert a pattern fill. Now I will do that for fill number 2 to show you the difference between the two fills and how interesting it gets by using pattern fills. So the first fill, I'm not going to use a pattern fill, so I'm going to choose to use preset fill A, and before I do that, I'm just going to zoom into the design to make it easier for me to digitize. Okay, so fill A, I've actually digitized up to the point that I'm going to start, where the first stitch is going to be in the fill itself. So fill A. Now the first 2 points directly after choosing fill A are very important. They dictate the angle of the stitches in the fill, and you'll see as I put these 2 stitches down, number 1 and number 2, both these points are using the left mouse key. You'll see that that's effectively now going to be the angle of the stitches all the way through this fill. So there, just to reiterate, those are left mouse. Now what I'm going to do is use the right mouse key and plot the outline of the fill itself. So these are going to be right mouse key buttons. As you can see, I can put as many right mouse clicks and stitch points down as I need to accurately cover and represent the graphic that I'm using. Now these are all, as I say, right mouse click buttons. Now it's important also to note the sequence of these buttons. So as I said, I started with, straight after inserting the fill, I laid down a left mouse button and a left mouse button to denote the angle of the stitches. That's the angle of the stitches all the way through this design. Then use right mouse clicks to define the shape. These are all right mouse buttons of the shape of the fill. Now, when the next mouse click I'm going to lay down is a left mouse click. This denotes the exit point of the fill. So it's going to sew all the way down and end in the bottom here, which I'm going to use with now a left mouse click. You'll see it's a black circle as opposed to a grey circle. Now I'm going to revert back to the right mouse clicks, which will define the rest of the shape until I've get all the way back to the my starting position, which is define the entire shape, and then I'm going to finish again with a left mouse click. So these are right mouse clicks here defining this shape. Okay, so the next button I'm going to click here is a left mouse button, and that will define that will denote to this particular fill sequence that I finished defining the fill. I've defined the angle, I've defined where the last stitch is going to go, and where the exit point of the fill is. That will dictate where it fills down to and up to, and where it exits. So the last left mouse button will be the end of this fill. Okay, so you can see how it's now created a complete fill. Okay, so I'm going to move quickly on to the next fill. Typically, if these were 2 pieces of the design, you'd put you needle up, insert needle up, 2 here. You can see this is jump stitch denoted by the dashed line, needle down, and put a few stitches down. Okay, I'm now going to zoom into this second pattern. I'll zoom in a little bit further if I can. Okay, so again I can put some underlay down if I really wanted to, and I'm going to do exactly the same type of fill, but now I've got a more complex pattern where it's going to have to try and fill it slightly differently. Okay, I'm going to go and insert I'm just going to insert a pattern fill. So this time firstly I'm going to insert a pattern fill or fill pattern. This means from this point on any fills I create will use this particular pattern fill. So insert, I'm going to use the I've got many built-in pattern fills to use, which comes with included in your EDS system. I'm going to choose the Data 7 Consultancy pattern fill. You can see DSC there. Click OK. So that doesn't take hold yet because there's no fills, but any fills that I create after this point will use that pattern fill unless I turn it off here. So when I insert, it automatically inserts it and turns it on for any fills, or I can then I can turn it off and back on again. Okay, so I'm now going to go and insert a fill type A again with the predefined stitch density and stitch length. Exactly the same as before, but I'm going to put this on right on the top this time. So remember my first two left stitches, left mouse clicks denote the angle, so that's going to be more of a horizontal. Incidentally, all of these underlay stitches are just normal running stitches, which I lay down with again the left mouse click as shown in the previous videos. So that is laid down, that is dictated in my fill the angle of those stitches through this fill. So that was a left mouse click followed by a second left mouse click, and now I'm going to define the rest of the pattern with right mouse clicks. Okay, so these are all right mouse clicks, and I'm going to just to be slightly different, I'm going to choose my exit point here, which is not right at the bottom. So we'll see what result that gives us. So now I'm going to define the rest of this pattern, which is slightly more complex than the previous one. So again, these are all right mouse clicks defining the whole pattern. So as I approach the end of this pattern fill with my right mouse clicks, any mistakes I can clear up in point editing straight afterwards. And as I'm getting to the end of this, I then, to denote the end of this fill, I press the left mouse button again. Okay, as you can see, there's my exit point. I'll put a stitch here just to show. There's my exit point as I dictated, and indeed it's filled this shape and this shape. Okay, so that's the end of the two types of fills, one less complex than the other. How we denote the angle of the stitches, and as you can see, this angle is more horizontal compared to this fill number 1. That's more of a 35-degree angle. Okay, so fills done. I hope you found that useful. What I'm going to do now very quickly is I'm just going to make that fit. And you can see all the condensed stitch points. What I'm going to do very quickly now is just demonstrate to you what the pattern fill looks like for both these fills. As you remember, I didn't insert one on the first fill, I inserted it before the second fill. So firstly I'm going to save my condensed as, go to my designs folder, and I'm going to call this fill 1 and fill 2. Save it. So that's my design now saved. I just pressed F5 button there to refresh. So it's a standard default refresh button. Okay, now with my pattern fills in place, all I need to do to make those pattern fills work is save my design as expanded. So I'm going to go to save my expanded designs into my same location, and I'm going to call it the same name, fill 1 and fill 2. Okay, so I've saved it now, as you'll see up here, as QEP, quick expanded from quick condensed. So it's not changed on screen, but I'm now going to press the F5 button to refresh. Okay, so you can see on the top fill it is a standard fill pattern, and you can see at the bottom, even though it fills in different sections, the DSC all marries up nicely in these particular fills. Let me zoom in. I've just clicked the right mouse button for the context menu. I want to click zoom in. If I zoom in a cross section there, so here you can see all these black stitch points moving left and right. You can also see, look, the design didn't go quite to the edge. This is something I would zoom in closer to initially to digitize, or I could alter those in condensed format before I convert it to expanded format. Okay, so you can see these are just a straightforward fill with a stitch length of, if I go into design preferences, I use fill type A, density of 4.2, stitch length of 45 points or 4.5 millimeters. So that's what these stitches are here. Down here, if I just zoom out a little bit and zoom in a little bit further down here, you can see the DSC pattern running all the way through this design, and these pattern fills are denoted, sorry, the stitches in this pattern fill is denoted using the pattern fill. In this case, if I quickly go into here and load, you can see this is the actual each black point here represents a stitch, and each square is 0.1 of a millimeter, or a point. Okay, so I'll cover pattern fills in more detail in another video. I just wanted to demonstrate how we could easily use pattern fills in our fill video. Okay, so that concludes the video on how to create fairly simple fills and complex fills, and how we can very easily use a pattern fill. So when it's actually embroidered out, you will see this pattern, or indeed any pattern of your choice, in the actual embroidery.